You know, a lot of times people say, I think we should actually have a love of democracy at the core, a love of democracy at the core of how we function. I don't think that the profits of chemical companies should be placed before the well-being of our children. You know, one of the issues that really got me was when Scott Pruitt became the head of the EPA, and in the new budget, you know, the budget of the Environmental Protection Agency that is now proposed would slash that budget by 1/4. And one of the first moves that he made, one of the first moves that Mr. Pruitt made, was that there is a particular pesticide which every single environmental scientist that had been appointed during the Obama administration, every single scientist had said that this pesticide should be permanently banned because of the damage that we know it does to children's brains and developing nervous systems. One of the first things that Mr. Pruitt did was he overturned that ban, saying that much as we heard from Mr. Hayes tonight, that the profit-making capacity of Dow Chemical is somehow more important than the developing brains of our children. The idea that profit is placed before the health and well-being of our children, that whether it has to do with fossil fuel companies, or whether it has to do with health insurance companies, whether it has to do with the private prison industry, no matter what it has to do with, what are we as a nation if we are not willing to stand up and say no? You know, there is a common anthropological characteristic of every advanced mammalian species that survives and thrives, and that is the fierce behavior of the adult female of that species when she senses there is a threat to her cubs. Whether you see it in the bear, or you see it in the tiger, or you see it in the lioness, they'll leave you alone unless they think you're coming after their cubs, they'll come after you. And when we see a National Geographic special with the mama bear acting that way, or tiger acting that way, or lioness acting that way, and she's coming after you fierce, we don't say about the tiger or the bear or the lion, ooh, I think she's strident, I think she has anger issues. No, 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 no. And when you have a country with American cubs, American children, as threatened as they are, a world in which 12,000 children are starving every single day, and there is no dearth of food, and the fact that the adult female of our species is not standing up as much as we might in order to stop this, this is showing, for all intents and purposes, a species with no intent to survive. But something is happening now. There are people all over this world who look at Americans and think, God, we're asleep for a long time. When are Americans ever going to wake up? Yeah, that's pretty much true of Americans. We are slow to wake up. But I'll tell you something, those same people know this about us too. When we do wake up, we slam it like nobody's business. And that is what is starting to happen now. And for every American woman who leaves this place and says, do you know about this chemical named atrazine? And they're continuing to produce it and to manufacture it, even though we know it does terrible hormone disruption. And you leave and you say, do you know, I went to this TEDx Berkeley and I learned about what these undocumented kids are going through. I went to TEDx Berkeley and I learned about what some of these refugees are going through, and it seems so merciless. And our own parents and grandparents were refugees. And American foreign policy created some of these situations to begin with. And you are met by people who go, oh my God, I've heard this before. Are we going to hear it from you again too? We're just trying to have dinner. Listen, this is what you do at that time. Let me tell you again. Do you know about this chemical called atrazine? This chemical called atrazine that we absolutely know is disrupting our hormones. And let me tell you about those documented workers. And then, if nothing else will work, they'll do what they're doing now. They'll call you a snowflake. I'll tell you what you say when they say either you've spent too much time in California or, okay, snowflake, you just look at them and you say, damn right, and there's going to be an avalanche in November. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. God bless everybody. Thank you.